There is a lot going on in the courtroom this morning. The jury is not privy to this testimony. The judge will decide whether or not the jury can hear these financial transgressions from Alex Murdaugh's past. I want to bring in former FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder and State Attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida. Once again, Dave Ehrenberg this morning. Dave, I want to start with you real quick. What stands out to you about what this witness is testifying to this morning about the financial crimes? And why is that important for the prosecutors if it is, in fact, admitted?
It's really important, Marni, because the Achilles heel of the prosecution's case is the lack of obvious motive. And that's why the defense lawyer wanted the jury to see Alex Murdaugh stand up and say, look, do you think this is the kind of guy who would butcher his family? By all accounts, he was a loving father. And so the state has to come up with a reason why he did. And although it's not a requirement in a first-degree murder case to show motive, the jurors want to know the why. And here's the why. It's what this witness is saying, which is why she is so compelling. It's that the gig was up. He had defrauded his law firm. They were going to expose him. And also he had a hearing in the civil matter against his son, Paul, where he was going to have to disclose his finances. And so his financial house of cards was about to collapse. And that's why he did this heinous act.
Tracy, let's bring you in here as we watch Alex Murdaugh hear his former colleague, someone he's known since high school, talk about confronting him about these financial crimes. We also have to consider that the jury is hearing a lot of evidence from investigators that were gathered the night of the murders, including what we heard moments ago from someone with Snap or Snapchat from this video and video logs. There were some deleted messages from Alex Murdaugh's phone that night. Investigatively, talk about why that may be significant, and can that stuff be recovered? At this point, what time was it deleted? What did it entail?
So I think, Marni, exactly to your point, what you said, the timing of when those were deleted is what's going to be very important. Look, lots of 19-year-olds delete things from their phone that they don't want their parents to see, don't want other folks to see. So that's not all that uncommon. But what will be interesting is to know what time those messages were deleted. And I do believe that those can be retrieved. It's a process in terms of retrieving them, but they can be retrieved. And I would imagine that the prosecution is probably all over that at this case, at this point. And in listening to that Snapchat video, they may not need more because Alex Murdaugh's voice is very clear on that video. I've listened to it several times, and you can hear him multiple times on the video. And they have become familiar with his voice from the courtroom, the jury has. So I would imagine they wouldn't need too much explanation in terms of putting, two and two together in this case. But yes, those messages can be retrieved. I think that they will just depend on what time they were deleted.
Let's play that for people at home. This is the Snapchat video recorded on Paul Murdaugh's phone when prosecutors say you can hear Alex in the background. Let's listen.
Okay. Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. Bubba. Hey, Bubba. It's a guinea. This is a chicken. Come here, Bubba. Come here, Cash. Come here, Bubba. Cash. Quit.
So, Dave, you've got that piece of audio, and then you have the audio which prosecutors say was a confession on the part of Alex Murdaugh saying, I did him bad, when he's being interviewed by investigators. Is this key to the prosecution's case? How important are these two pieces of audio?
Yes, Marni, I don't think the alleged confession is the smoking gun because it could be interpreted different ways. Even if he said I and not they, he could have said, well, I meant that I didn't raise him right, or I should have been there at the time to protect him. I mean, he can talk his way out of that somewhat. It's not as powerful as the other video, which is so important. As Tracy said, my goodness, he has repeatedly said he was not at the dog kennels before the murder. Well, he was there. Now we know for sure, and yet he lied about it over and over again. Why would you do that unless you're the murderer? You combine that with his change of clothes. You saw the other video from Snapchat where he was wearing different clothes an hour before the murders. Why did you change clothes right afterwards? And then his seemingly phony alibi. He's calling his wife and he's texting her and his son, where are you? Hi, I'm leaving. What's going on? That kind of stuff right after the murders, 10 minutes after the murders. But for the hour before, his phone was silent. It looks like this guy meticulously planned this. But the one thing he couldn't control was that secret video Paul took minutes before he was murdered.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.